And I guess we'll see what this button does and get started.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Side Scheme, a podcast about everybody's favorite superhero card game, Marvel Champions. I am your host, BananaCrapshoot, on a beautiful Sunday in central Pennsylvania, and with me virtually across the interwebs, as always, is my perfectly balanced co-host, Tommy of Titan. Tommy, how are you?
I am swell. How are you?
I'm good, man. You know, just enjoying the weekend, not at work.
Truth. I love it. I had to go to my grandmother's house and weed her garden today, and I found like 150 wild onions growing in her garden, so it was a long process. So you being off from work, I spent hours out there ripping these onions out. It was wild.
Did you keep them for like a nice salad?
No, I threw them threw them away in a fit of rage. Actually,
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Well, I think
it was going to be like an hour ordeal. It was much longer.
Our guest might be upset because I think he's a big fan of onions. Are you a fan of onions, Mike?
Man, I love onions.
I figured.
The more raw, the better.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm totally joking.
He loves it raw.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So with us tonight is the RebelSpy, who, if you're a fan of Star Wars Destiny, I'm sure you know who he is. But Tommy and I thought, or Keyforge,
he's the man.
All over the place. He's been on more podcasts than advertisements, and he's Mike Rudin. So thanks for joining us,
dude. Thank you for having me on. I did not expect to be asked, but I'm happy to be podcasting again.
Well, I just thought, like you're a big reason I got into Star Wars Destiny in the first place. Like, to tell the truth, because
wow.
When I first was getting interested in the game, I searched podcasts to learn more about it, and the Tiny Grimes was like the first one I found. So like the Mike brothers, you and Jem were like always on. So like you guys are a big reason that I even like got into Destiny in the first place.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
And I think that Fantasy Flight Games needs your voice on their podcast. So I was jonesing for some Rudin.
I'm happy to provide.
So thanks for joining us. So for the listeners that don't know you, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm been playing games for basically my whole life, like probably most of the people that listen, or I'm sure you guys. And I got really big into Star Wars Destiny, and made some community content for that game, and then kind of got sucked into doing content for some other games that I was into. But the game that I have been most involved in was Star Wars Destiny until that died, and now I've been playing pretty much nothing but Marvel Champions and Arkham Horror, getting super into the co-op games, which I absolutely love.
That's awesome.
Do you think you'd ever go back to a competitive game, or is like the casual co-op like where you're at right now?
That's a great question. I think I'm definitely much more excited about the cooperative games right now. But if the right competitive game came out, I mean, like if somebody announced a new competitive Star Wars game, I'm sure I would not be able to say no.
That IP really, it means a lot. It means a lot more than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions for him, Tommy?
No, I'm a little starstruck because I too spent a lot of time listening to the sultry voice of Mike Rudin. So.
Oh my gosh!
I got a couple real quick, quick fire Marvel related questions. All right, so favorite Marvel hero?
Thor.
Villain.
Ooh. Everybody says Magneto. I don't want to say Magneto. I think that's a really, really tough question. It might be They're like the Green Goblin. It might be the Green Goblin.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Batroc the Leaper, and I was about to kick you out right now.
It is not Batroc the Leaper.
Okay. All right. Favorite hero we have like available in game to play?
I think it's Thor.
Favorite side scheme in the game?
Ooh.
The correct answer is the podcast, but I'll accept an actual card.
Okay. I don't even know the names of cards. They just hit the table and I see the icon. Yeah. We'll go with the Doomsday Doomsday chair because it's just so mean.
All right, that's fair. All right, that's all I got for quick fire Marvel questions. So do we have any games that we've played recently we want to talk about, or do we want to jump into Tommy in the Scheme League?
I played against Ronin, the new Ronin modular set, but I think we're going to talk about that later, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Ronin a little later because I'm excited about that exists.
Most of the games that I've played have been part of the league. Although I did try and play about 5 different Hulk games solo today, and got crushed in pretty much all of them.
Ooh.
I tried Protection and Aggression, but I started off on Heroic 1 because I wanted to see like how hard it would really be. And it turns out when you can't thwart, you lose real quick.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
What scenario were you playing against?
I started off playing as the first scenario I played against was Risky Business with Goblin Gimmicks, and then the second was Claw with Madam Hydra.
Yeah, imagine that one's a little difficult.
They were difficult.
Yeah, Claw with Hydra is no joke. That's a rough combination.
It's pretty mean, and even the Goblin scenario too. It's like like you get 4 Goblin minions out, and like the scheme's ticking up for 4, and then you just lose.
Yeah, I mean, in that scenario specifically kind of lends itself to like building. Like Iron Man has time to build a suit. Hulk doesn't build; he just smashes. So
yeah,
like
exactly.
you're just flipping him a lot and taking a whole bunch of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I imagine if I tried Leadership or Justice, I may have been a bit more successful. But I kind of wanted to just like see if I could just like brute force my way through it.
I like it. I think that's as intended.
Mm-hmm.
What are your guys? We'll just talk about this now. What are your guys' initial thoughts on Hulk and where he fits into the game in general?
I think he's an elite role player in the sense that he just is going to deal a ton of damage, and he's actually pretty good at killing minions. Better at killing minions than I anticipated. Just because he can deal out 3 damage here, 3 damage here, 3 damage here, and that number just feels nice because even if you're one short, yeah, it's a huge break point in this game. A lot of times you're killing things or putting them on 1, and 1 feels easy enough where it's like, oh well, my energy barrier will clean that up, or you know what I mean. I can hit that with my Mockingbird or something. So I think that he's better than Thor in that role personally. I think his hand is limiting, but I think if you build just on a low curve, he's pretty effective.
Yeah, he's really, really interesting, and I feel like I didn't really get like the essence of what the Hulk should be when I played him today. I think like it would have been much more fun and much more like satisfying for him to be part of a team where like they can shore up his weaknesses and stuff, but in doing the job that he's meant to do, which is just smash, he was pretty successful at that. So yeah, I'm excited to try him out in a multiplayer game.
Nice. I don't have really any input on this because my Hulk pack still hasn't shown up yet, so still waiting to sleeve them up myself.
Rip, man, took the words right out of it.
Yep. Yeah, I was hoping to last night, start with the heroic FFG challenge, Claw Heroic 3 with Doomsday Chair, just
just knock it out real quick.
Yeah. I figured 10 minutes were good, but
yeah, exactly.
But all right, but I guess we'll jump into the Scheme League now. So Tommy, you want to talk about where we're at with that right now?
Yeah. Did we go over what we were gonna do last cast? I can't remember. Like the breakdown of what it.
I don't think so.
The
last time we casted, we had Caleb Grace with on us, right? So we didn't really get into a whole lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so for this Scheme League, what we did was something a little different. Instead of having a draft, what we did was it's a 2-player league again, or you can play two-handed, whatever you prefer. And every player drafts or selects 2 heroes, 2 aspects. And we assigned a 400-point cap, and then we assigned values to each of the heroes and each of the aspects. And you basically spent 400 points on your aspects and heroes. So we got a whole bunch of different combinations. I don't think there was any duplicate combinations, which was really cool. We also had a good number of teams. I think we had 8 teams signed in or signed up for it. We had what do we have here? We have a Captain America Protection and Miss Marvel Aggression. We have Thor Aggression and Doctor Strange Justice. We got Captain America and Protection and Iron Man Justice. We have Doctor Strange Protection, Thor Justice. There's a whole slew of stuff here. Tons of like differing combinations. Really good. And I think we're gonna put an article out like with our breakdown of the points and everything. We did not use the Hulk for this because this has been going on for a while. I think it ends on this upcoming
Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Friday? Okay.
Friday, or whichever one it is.
Yeah, I think it's Friday.
That makes sense. Yeah, because we I think we had to have teams in by that 3 Fridays ago. So, so that's where we're at with that. That's how that league works. Right now, a lot of the teams are undefeated. Looks like our schedule was a little easier this time. We went Heroic 1 Rhino with Masters of Evil for Game 1, Expert Claw Legions of Hydra for Game 2, and Expert Ultron with Goblin Gimmicks for Game 3. And then if a tiebreaker game is needed, we left that to be announced. Fortunately for us, because they dropped that Ronin set, which we are going to be sliding in there. And I guess we'll just announce it now. We're going to do Expert Claw with Ronin. And hopefully him revealing all those extra boost cards is going to ensure that Ronin hits the table in that 2-player game. And 2-player, he feels kind of... Or I haven't played him in 2-player, I should preface this. But he seems to be a little more manageable than when you get to 3 or 4. I think he starts to get a little like, we better off just ignoring him.
Yeah, that health total when it's multiplied by 4 is a little insane.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. At 3, we played him in a 3-player game, and it was like, should we waste our time with this? But I'll let you know how that went in a little bit. So as far as my team, it was me and Scott. We're terrible, and we played last night. Actually, we played 2 games. We started out with Heroic 1 Rhino, and we won. Scott is playing Black Widow Protection, and I'm playing Iron Man Protection. For some reason, I continuously have teams where we're doubling up on aspects, I think just because I like to be different. But we murdered Rhino on Heroic 1. We started the second game of Expert Claw probably a little later than I wanted to, since I have 2 young kids and am getting up pretty early every day. We were a little fatigued, but we made some bad choices, and Claw was able to scheme out with his 3 scheme. So, we definitely should have been in hero mode, and we both wound up dropping to alter ego, and he schemed out. So we are 1-1 with 1 game left to go, which we probably won't even play because there is enough teams that are 3-0s already. So, where are you guys at?
I'm 3-0 with Thor Aggression and Doctor Strange Justice. Doctor Strange is really good, if you didn't know that. And
I've heard that.
And him over thwarting, like I haven't hit like the second stage of any of the schemes.
Wow.
Like for Claw or Ultron, I just the over with Justice and like his invocation and stuff, like it's just ridiculous the amount of threat control he has.
Astral Projection can hit for like, what can you get? You can hit 6 for that. I think it's a 2-cost event that removes 3, and then you look at the top card of the encounter deck and you remove an additional 1 for each boost icon.
Yeah.
I mean, that card's insane. So
Yeah.
he's great at thwarting, period.
So I don't think I ever really needed to. I think I played in the 3 games. I played Defender of the Nine Realms twice because I didn't need to thwart and I didn't need the minions because for some reason Strange kept getting all the minions in the encounter cards, but I would always save like the only card I would keep for Thor is like get over here. So I was always just pulling minions to Thor. So nice. Thor was able to do his thing to just swing away and murder everything, and Doctor Strange handled all the threat, and it just. Like it was smoother than I anticipated it being, but I also think because we did drop to expert, we've been doing a lot of heroic, but not everybody likes to play heroic all the time, and we want to switch it up. So I think having the 2 expert games was good for this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think we were getting a little carried away with the heroic there for a while. It was a little too much. Next season, 3 heroic Wrecking Crew just for Mike though.
Oh, yeah, just for me. Hey, I was the one that wanted to try that because I was so salty that we lost that. The entire game, I was telling T House, like, this like, Wrecking Crew is so easy, we're going to crush this. And then just, like, one, like, horrible villain phase just absolutely dominated us.
Yeah.
And I was, like, so salty that we lost. I was like, we got to try this again.
Yeah, a 2-player Heroic 1 Wrecking Crew is no joke. I feel like they get much harder the more players you add to the game, too. I can't imagine playing that Heroic with 4 players. And plus, it would take 3 hours.
It would take like 4 hours, exactly.
Yeah, there's so much health there, and then they go through the deck so fast, it's...
Yeah,
you'd have 12 acceleration tokens on there.
It's nuts. And, like, I feel like that encounters in like that scenario in particular like heavily rewards like your overarching strategy on like who you're targeting and who you're like trying to set as the active villain and stuff like that. And like when you're first learning how to play against the scenario, like you have no idea what you're doing in terms of that, and it can just totally like crush you.
It's true. It can surprise you too. It's a good. I think it caught a lot of heat, but I think Heroic 1 it's pretty challenging, and I think it's a good sweet spot for a 2-player, challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-designed scenario. It's a slog to get through because of all the health, is my opinion on it.
Definitely a slog.
Yeah.
So, Mike, where are you and D-House sitting for this season? You guys play any games yet?
Yeah, so we're playing the same team as you, Thor and Doctor Strange, but we have Protection instead of your aggression. So we have Justice and Protection. I'm playing Doctor Strange in Justice, and then D-House wanted to try Thor Protection. So far we're 1-0 against Rhino, and we have our next couple games scheduled for early this week.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's been super fun. D-House is not super familiar with playing Protection, so like it was like, and I've played Protection a lot, so it's like funny to watch him, like try and like figure out that like to play cards during the villain phase more and like not be too annoyed that you're not really doing much on your hero turn. But yeah, it worked out pretty well, and Doctor Strange is an absolute unit. You can just do everything, and that invocation deck is like the best cards in the game, basically.
Yeah, whenever Banana asks the "What's your favorite side scheme?" question, I always pick his. I always think to myself, I'm like, I like Doctor Strange's Shadows of the Past side scheme, but only when the
Vapors of Valtor.
Yeah, the Vapors of Valtor is on top. I'm like, yes, just get that out.
Yeah,
and then I'm in real good shape. Me and my Wong, we're gonna get there.
Yep. I mean, even the Vapors of Valtor like is super good against Rhino because
it's a great card.
Like you're getting stunned all the time or confused all the time, or he's getting tough. But yeah, I totally see that's like like your invocation deck is just deal 7 and stun, and then like 4 threat and
draw 3.
And, yeah, it's just crazy.
So good.
Yeah, it's yeah. Newsflash: Doctor Strange is good. So
yeah,
you heard it here first. Well, I think that'll do it for the Scheme League Season 4. Right? That's what it is, right? We're on Season 4.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to say, too, I'm digging the league. It's been super fun. It kind of gives me another reason to, play and try out new things rather, aside from just having a good time. So
I'm glad
I love
to hear
it.
that. That is good to hear, because that was our goal, was just to try to make people play, different things, stretch themselves a little bit, get a little outside of your comfort zone to experiment, and also to ramp up the difficulty a little bit. At first, we were really trying to do that, but yeah. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think it's like
fun.
It's like a fun community building thing too. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. The draft day. I'm sad we didn't have a draft day this season, because draft day is literally the best day, like, in my opinion.
Gifts everywhere. It's just
yeah, it just like being in the in the Discord chat and being able to talk to other people who are also in the league. It's like, yeah, I totally agree. It's a good like community building, just like fun way to hang out and talk with a few people who also dig Marvel Champions.
It's going to be awesome once Rise of Red Skull drops. It's
Oh,
going
man.
it's going to change everything. And I don't want to rush into it. I want to let everybody play their, play through the campaign and everything. But man, once that's out, we are diving back in, and it's going to be a whole new world for the Draft League.
yeah. Once that
I'm very excited.
Once that and Kang come out, I mean, we double our scenarios. So,
Yep.
and that just like infinitely adds to like everything else we can do. Like, I can't wait to play like the Kang modular sets with like Rhino and stuff, like Rhino with a pet dinosaur running around. Just sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
So, but yeah. So Gencon was online this year, right? And Fantasy Flight had some trouble with their their stream for their invite report.
I did catch that.
I was trying to watch it. Yeah, I was trying to watch it, and I was like, "This is like the most FFG thing to ever." Like,
basically, like the mere fact that they weren't actually doing any interaction with the audience, and coupled with the fact that they didn't pre-record it and just like broadcast the pre-recorded, like report, just like I cannot even fathom, making that decision to like actually, broadcast live what you could have easily recorded, previously, and then just, streamed out to the world / put it on YouTube. Like that, I don't understand. It would have been so much easier for them. Like the margin for error would have been, like
Zero?
I just don't get it. Yeah, I just don't get it.
I like to think of it as like an abstract representation of Destiny's life cycle. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yep.
Preach.
It was some modern art.
And then that's what they ended up doing anyway, was having to record it and then put it up on YouTube. So
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, we fired shots, but I mean, we're getting, with Marvel Champions, we've been pretty spoiled thus far, and the future looks real good.
Yeah. I'm not like trying to be too negative, but someone
they deserve it. They deserve some for that. There's definitely some mistakes being made over there.
I was talking.
I'm just saying, whoever is in their broad, it's actually their marketing team. Whoever's in their marketing department that's making these decisions should probably, think a little differently.
I was actually just talking to somebody the other day that's like a mutual friend of the three of ours about like my experience like with FFG in regards to Marvel Champions is like night and day compared to my experience with Destiny. It's like so weird that you almost can't believe it's the same company.
Yeah, and I think they're making some really good improvements, and they have been over the last year or so. So I definitely think it's only up from here.
It's interesting. I wonder why. Like, do you think it was all just improvements that they've made, or do you think it's I don't know who gets the credit. Like, does Caleb and Boggs get the credit for that, or do they have that kind of control over that stuff?
I think it's IP related.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of like IP and then also like the business side of FFG. Whereas like I mean even Destiny, I think the designers at FFG are amazing and have always been amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just the apparatus surrounding those designers I think is improving, and they've had a lot of turnover there. Like from their head of studio to their OP department to pretty much every aspect. And it seems like those shakeups have been improvements rather than like things that have been bad for the company. So
let's hope it continues the trend.
Yeah, my thought was initially that it was like a Lucasfilm versus like Marvel type of thing, that like Lucasfilm is like super picky and Marvel is probably a little more relaxed because I mean they license everything everywhere. So
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. And every interview I've ever heard, I mean, and some on this cast, we've heard them say like they've been great to work with. They've never like shot anything down. Like they're letting them write their own story arcs for campaign boxes. Like it seems like a way more fluid relationship. So that's definitely a factor.
And that makes a lot of sense too, right? Because they don't have to contend with like a Marvel story group, so to speak. Like there's no. I mean, there is and there isn't, but like the Marvel canon is so all over the place, and like you don't really have to adhere too strictly to any particular version of a character, I would imagine. Whereas Star Wars is, like especially now, or at least when Destiny first came out, which was like right after Episode 7, like they were trying to sort of take back like the control in terms of like how the characters are portrayed and stuff like that. So I get it, and I definitely think that has something to do with it.
But if you're just joining us, that's theorizing about FFG's internal workings here with the side scheme. So jumping into besides the in-flight report, Marvel Champions had a stream with it was Evan hosting it, right? And then you had Michael Boggs and Caleb Grace both there talking about Rise of Red Skull and like the wave after that. So is there anything from like the Rise of Red Skull they talked about specifically that you want to jump into, or stuff they revealed that you want to talk about?
Rise of Red Skull, I don't remember them having too much new information about.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about it too much.
No, I mean, I'm excited. I think they kind of let the focus pass to the next wave and then the next big box. So I don't think I have anything to say about Rise of Red Skull.
All right, I was just kind of making sure that I didn't miss something. So that's so Tom, you want to talk about the first hero they announced that's going to come out after the box?
Sure. They announced the paper airplane hero that causes all the rage for the Facebook group. I'm just trolling the community a little bit here. They announced Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is going to have 3 forms, not just 2. So he's going to have an alter ego, a tiny hero, and then a giant hero. And apparently the card is going to open up and fold so that you can rotate him and make him, the size of 2 cards, essentially. That's kind of the gimmick with him and the following hero. It kind of is a tandem with him, and they're going to lean into the team up as well. Do you want to read? Do you want me to are we going to go through card by card, Banana, or what? What's the plan?
I thought we could just hit like 1 or 2 cards that we liked. I do got to say something about this folding card nonsense. It's a total non-issue, and the fact that it's even was a discussion for so long is kind of ridiculous to me, because it's been in other games before. It's not a brand new thing they decided, and they didn't decide like, hey, every card's going to be a folding paper airplane. No, it's like this is thematic and unique to these heroes, and they try to bring that to every hero they design as something that's unique and thematic to the hero. So I'm all for this folding card thing. Sleeving is a non-issue. Look up Transformers videos on how they do it, because Transformers has had it for a while. It's been done. You can take care of the cards. It's going to be fine. Get over it. So, that's what I got to say.
Well said.
Amen.
Preach.
Yep.
So,
Go ahead.
So I was
Where
going to
we
say if anybody wanted to talk about anything specific in the Ant-Man cards we have that we know of, we can spend a minute on that.
I think Ant-Man kind of is his own thing, but he kind of reminds me of, I guess because Boggs designed him and Ms. Marvel, and they kind of have similar skills, like a similar skill set as far as powers go. He reminds me of Ms. Marvel in the sense that he's kind of wanting to flip pretty frequently. Just because everything's like after you change form. But also, like, the different forms are kind of well suited for different situations. Like, obviously, if you want to thwart, you want to be in your tiny form. If you want to attack or even defend, you kind of want to be in the giant form. And Scott Lang, obviously, if you want to heal, is a good form to be in. I mean, we don't really know a ton about him at this point. We know one card from his hero kit, which is that resource card, which is really interesting and like a new take on resource cards. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it brings.
And now, one thing I want to clarify, they did say is like when you're flipping, like you can flip from tiny to big. You don't have to stop in alter ego. The rules required is that you change. You can change form once. It doesn't matter if you go from hero 1 to hero 2. Basically, you can go right from big to little.
Yeah, that's essential, I think.
Right.
Like, if you had to switch back to Scott before you could go giant or whatever, like that would just be such a buzzkill.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fluid at all. I mean, even if you look at that one card fan that they have, there's a zero cost event called Resize, and the only word we can see is other on it. So I would imagine it's gonna allow you to change more than once, which is extremely thematic for Ant-Man. I mean, even if you've just seen the movies, he's constantly, like running through a keyhole and then punching somebody in the face as he grows.
I cannot wait to try it, to play as Ant-Man. That just sounds so fun. Like just flipping back and forth and getting benefits for flipping each time, and that just sounds like such a fun way to play the game and just be kind of like, like the parkour version of Marvel Champions.
That's a good illustration. I like that. It is good to one thing to note is that in terms of like when you think about She-Hulk flipping, and you get that benefit when you flip her, or Ms. Marvel even, just enabling your personas and things like that. You always have that situation where the villain's going to scheme when I'm in alter ego. Ant-Man doesn't really have that because he can go to alter ego, but you can still change between his hero forms, tiny and giant. So he could do a lot of flipping and never really.
Hello? You cut out there, Tommy. Or my computer froze.
Be frowned upon.
Yeah,
like that.
I agree. Yeah, I think
higher than average.
The average is probably like 11. If I had to just take a wild, uneducated guess.
Yeah, Hulk might skew it.
He might. Yeah, that might skew it. You're not wrong. We could throw Hulk away. We'll throw away the highest.
Did you guys see this team building exercise card?
But yeah, he looks fun. He looks great. And Yellow Jacket is his nemesis, which also looks pretty crazy because he has a crazy attachment of sorts.
+2 scheme, +2 attack. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty.
Yeah. I think that about covers it. You wanna move on to Wasp?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Mike, you want to talk about the Wasp?
Sure. So Wasp is, similar to Ant-Man, as you'd imagine. But it seems like, and they talked about this in the stream that they did, she kind of wants to stay in a particular form for a bit longer. Because in her giant form, she's got the 2-2-3 stat line, which just seems crazy. And your threat and your damage when you thwart and attack can be split amongst your schemes or enemies as you choose, which I think a lot of people are going to really like that ability. I've watched videos where people really hate wasting damage or wasting thwart, and this is a great way to not have to do that. You can just assign it perfectly, every time you do it. And then on the other side, in her tiny form. Once you defeat the minion in her side scheme, you get to deal an extra damage to the villain. So you want to kind of set them up with the giant form and then knock them down with the tiny form and get that extra benefit. But she seems similarly fun to Ant-Man. I don't know. We didn't really talk about the team up card yet, right?
No.
Or team up cards in general.
Nope.
Just mentioned that they exist. But yeah, go ahead, read that off.
Okay, so there's this one cost event called Swarm Tactics, and it's got the team up tag or Q. I wouldn't call it a keyword, but it's just a team up ability, I guess, with Ant-Man and the Wasp. You can only have one in your deck, but theoretically you'd have one in your Ant-Man deck. Your friend or your other hand would have the card in your Ant-Man deck, and it's a hero action where you just get to change your hero form and then you ready your hero. So that seems really cool. And the fact that they're doing these team ups is just like the most Marvel thing I've ever heard of in my life. So I'm very glad that they're doing it.
You can't get much more thematic than that.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I love team up. Team up is like that A++. Love that. Love that we're getting 3 forms. For me, I'm very easy to please with the heroes. Make them all feel extremely different. Like, just give me something fresh. And obviously, like, Ant-Man and Wasp are very similar, but they're kind of like a package deal. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't mean them different. I mean different than what we've had in the past. Like, we've had Iron Man, we've had Black Panther, Captain America, Doctor Strange. Give us something new. Show us new mechanics, new design space. And they're pushing that, right away with these two. So, I'm thrilled. And with the team up in general, just to... like the team up card can change for every duo of heroes that are going to be represented with it. Mm-hmm. So
they could even print multiple team up cards for the same 2 heroes.
Yeah, that's wild. Or you could have a team up card for Wasp and somebody else. It doesn't even have to be Ant-Man anymore. Like you could have team up cards from other heroes. And you don't have to have the heroes in like both heroes on the table. One of them can be an ally, so you could be Wasp and there could be an Ant-Man ally. We don't actually know, but they just have to be in play. So,
mind blown.
Boom.
Mind blown. You guys got anything else on Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Mm-mm.
They should be. From what I can gather, Kang and Ant-Man are both going to be out in October. And then November will be the Wasp. So moving to December would be Quicksilver.
Nice.
I'm pretty excited for Quicksilver. I think he's got a cool ability.
Sick.
He's got a 1/1/1 stat line, but his ability is called Super Speed, and it's a response that after you use one of his basic powers, his toward attack or defense, you get to ready him, and it's once per phase. So that really lends him to being like good everywhere, like just as aggression or protection, because he defend and then he can ready right away. So I think he looks cool.
I think he's like the ultimate like power gamers hero, where like it's just boost up his stats and then get as much value out of that as possible. I think a ton of people are going to love playing Quicksilver.
Agreed. I feel exposed though after that.
We're all going to be playing Quicksilver.
Yeah. He seems awesome. Very excited to play him.
And then what's interesting is he and the would be the January hero, Scarlet Witch. They have the same alter ego ability, basically. Superpowered siblings that they can discard 2 from their hand and draw 2, and he can draw 3 if Wanda is in play. So they both have to be an alter ego to get like the kicker of the 3 cards, but they can always cycle 2.
That's a crazy ability.
That's so. Here's what my question for that would be: if you have the ally. Presuming they make the ally, at some point I'm very confident that they will print a Scarlet Witch ally. But you know how they have it would be Scarlet Witch and then Wanda Maximoff would be like the subtext there? Would that count for that ability?
I would count it. I would be shocked if it didn't count.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But the way this reads, it kind of sounds like if Wanda isn't in alter ego mode, that you're not getting that third card.
Yeah, I think if you're playing as the one, hero card rather than ally card, I think like you'd have to be in alter ego with Pietro. But if the ally version's out and the ally card says Wanda Maximoff on it, like that definitely counts.
Yeah, that's a weird interaction.
It is a very weird interaction. Yeah, I mean the ability's insane though. Like if you're playing, Wanda and Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, like you just start the game with a 7-card hand size, both players. That's so good, especially because like the first turn of the game is so important in like setting up and doing all that stuff. So it lets you filter through your cards and have an extra resource available. So good.
I mean, just that card filter. I mean, we know that's strong just from like Alpha Flight Station and Captain Marvel. So having that built into your alter ego is.
There's definitely a drawback in this game for that. Like, you go through your deck quicker. It definitely you're paying a price.
I mean, the extra encounter card.
Yeah, I mean they add up.
I mean, we've also been playing a lot of heroic, right? So I mean, those extra encounter cards mean a little more then. But I think if you're playing like standard, or expert, that one encounter card every couple rounds doesn't really.
Yeah, it's not like you're doubling, or in that you are doubling what you're facing. So I mean, I don't know. It can. It just depends on your comfort level, I guess. But it's not like you're taking an encounter card every time you use this ability. Like you're not repulsor blastering 3 times in Iron Man, where you're just like your deck melts. But
yeah, and some heroes can handle that better than others, and some heroes are more equipped to handle the encounter deck. With only 9 hit points, like Quicksilver can easily accidentally die to some weird treacheries and stuff like that. So it is a concern
for sure.
Yeah.
So the real big card here, though. I mean, so of all the X teams that we thought were going to show up, I can honestly say that this was not going to be at the top of my list. It did, X-Men. Or are they going to break it into X-Men Blue or Gold or X-Force? What do you think we're going to get? I don't know. It could be, or how about New Mutants? Maybe something like that. No, we're getting the X Factor. We have an X Factor ally in the game now. We have Warlock, not Adam Warlock, but Warlock of X Factor. The crazy mechanical, like, mutant dude that I don't even remember reading a comic of him probably since the 90s. Yeah, but it's pretty wild to see that kind of stuff show up.
So there you go. We know they can have X characters, so it's coming. You just gotta be patient.
I wonder if Fox ever had the rights to X Factor.
Yeah, who knows?
Like, no, you can keep that one. Nobody's gonna do anything with it. Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's coming. Who wants to take Scarlet Witch then?
I can read Scarlet Witch. I am pretty pumped about. I'm gonna knock. I mean, Ant-Man and Wasp seem really fun. Like we talked about how theme is important for me and Mike. That IP holds weight. I prefer the Maximoff siblings from a theme standpoint. So Wanda Maximoff is pretty wild, and I think they did a great job of capturing her theme. She again has the superpowered siblings ability. She has 10 hit points, your 6/5 hand size, 3 recovery. When she's in hero mode, she's a 2/1/2, and she has chaos control, which is an interrupt. When boost icons on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. Limit once per phase. This is a real random, just crazy ability. And even the other card that they showed for her it's just, I love how you're like just flipping cards off the encounter deck and you're getting really weird random abilities that are powerful, but like she's not really totally in control of what's going on, which I love.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And they capture that, like, playing with magic and kind of not knowing what you're going to get.
Mhm.
that feeling so well with these cards.
Not a power gamer style hero.
Not at all.
This is definitely my kind of hero for sure. Kind of random, big, chunky effects that could go horribly wrong on accident, but it's still, super fun.
In a co-op game, it's going to be a blast.
Yep, exactly.
And they have a team-up card in this pack as well called Order and Chaos. One cost event, again, team-up Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, one per deck. Hero interrupt. When a treachery card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its when revealed effects, then deal 2 damage to the villain. So it's just like a super cancel, basically. Just like, all the other ones we've seen. Mystic Wards or Spider Sense, but you're just dealing 2 damage. So, pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a cool card. I kind of wish the deal 2 damage was like a different effect. I feel like that's just like a little... I don't know. It's just like it doesn't feel as exciting as something else could have been. Maybe it doesn't feel super, Quicksilvery. But maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe that's supposed to be the Scarlet Witch part.
No, I think that would be the... maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see it. I could see him like running in and just taking like a cheap shot, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. I
sneaking
see it.
him.
I see it.
I mean, there's
Wanda's
not
busy,
like
doing something with magic, and then Quicksilver just runs in real quick and pops him in the face.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm envisioning it. She's warping it, undoing whatever was done. But yeah, that's all
Seems
we have
legit
for
to me.
the Scarlet Witch pack.
And then the real thing that got everybody fired up was this announcement of the next campaign box, which should be out in February. The Galaxy's Most Wanted, so Guardians of the Galaxy Steam box, which I know a lot of people were excited for. I'm guessing you guys were too.
In the stream where I wet myself.
Yeah, it's so pumped about this.
I changed my pants too early because I was still peeing. It was wild. I did, to get I'm a huge cosmic nerd when it comes to the Marvel comic stuff. So this was like, I was pumped. I thought we were staying Earthbound for a little longer than I thought we were getting at least one more like Earthbound, more of a grounded level villain, but
like Defenders or something. But
yeah, I had Spider-Man, Defenders. I mean, something in that realm, but we're going to space right now. I love it. I am so jazzed. So jazzed. Oh my gosh. You guys got to talk. I'm too excited.
all right. I'll start. I'll take Rocket. I'm of Rocket and Groot that they showed. I think Rocket's more up my alley. His alter ego, you can choose and discard a tech upgrade you control to draw 2 cards. And I'm guessing he's going to have a lot of tech upgrades.
That's a super good ability.
Yeah.
So even like, if like you can play energy barriers on someone else or no?
I don't think so.
But you can play the new one, I think, on someone else. The
electrostatic armor. Yeah, so you can either throw. Yeah, so you can throw like cheap tech upgrades off aspect onto him that he can just get rid of for 2 cards, which seems pretty good. But then his hero ability murdered you.
Rocket.
Yeah. After you deal excess damage to an enemy, draw 1 card, which is like on theme. Like even like he's on the Relentless Assault card, which does overkill, so like excess damage. So that's like on theme, on brand, and I'm all for it. And anytime you get to draw a card is pretty good. So
yeah, anything that says draw a card on it gets my attention real quick.
Yeah,
it's my favorite thing to do in a card game is draw cards.
For sure. Hey, you're such a power gamer, Mike. Jeez.
Or make other people discard theirs.
I don't actually need the cards to do anything. I just want to draw them in my hand.
I just like to have a big hand. That's all. I'm compensating. I don't know about you.
I'm way overcompensating when it comes to hand size.
One thing that is interesting about Rocket is that he's got that 2 thwart, which is really cool for a hero that I mean, right away when you read his murdered you ability, I'm kind of thinking aggression right away.
Yeah.
Just like Relentless Assault. Sure, it's going to let me draw a card and go straight over to the boss. But a lot of times these aggression heroes or heroes that you like kind of put in that box in your brain, at least I do, have that bigger attack stat. Maybe not like Black Panther, but a lot of them have that big attack stat where you kind of want to be attacking with them. You got the She-Hulk, the Thor, the Hulk, where stun and exhaust really ends up hurting you. But Rocket's not that hero. He's also a lot more fragile, but it looks like he's going to be dealing damage with his tech upgrades and with his events and things like that. So he might be a nice change to that archetype where he's actually kind of doing a little more thwarting than a lot of the heroes that end up in aggression.
Yeah. That's super exciting. Like, kind of change up to the aggression template. I think he feels distinct in comparison to those, which I think is just like a sign of how cool the design is in this game.
Yeah,
where you can have a hero that's just all about shooting things and overkilling things, and it feels way different than a hero like the Hulk, which could have easily felt very similar.
Yeah, especially with like that overkill theme, you could have had that there.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't.
But it just makes so much sense with Rocket. Like, it's just so
definitely.
Perfect.
And another thing I think is interesting is like on the particle cannon upgrade, it's restricted, but it doesn't have the uses keyword, but it does use counters. So you don't discard it after all the counters are removed because it doesn't have that uses keyword. So that feeds his alter ego ability. Then you use the counters, you're out of charges or whatever, and then you can discard it and draw a card.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
That is super nuanced. I had no idea. That's really cool.
That's why people listen to
Okay.
the side scheme is for that right there. So
That was it. That was our one nugget.
that was it.
You
So
listened to how many episodes, and we finally got there.
this is
You're
like our
welcome,
12th
Mom.
one. This is like our 12th one. So both our listeners, my mom, your mom, and Mr. Chips Moms, we got 3.
That's right. Yep.
That's it. We're gonna take a bow now. But yeah, so
That's really cool.
I'm curious what other upgrades he has that like also use counters but don't have uses, so that they stay, so we can just discard them when he's done with them. But
Well,
yeah,
I would imagine he's got quite a bit.
I hope
of
so.
weapons
We'll see.
and tech.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're seeing that the particle cannon gives him overkill and ranged for those attacks. So ranged is the one that I think ignores guard, right?
Ignores
retaliate.
retaliate.
Oh, retaliate, yeah. Something needs to ignore guard.
Like Rocket being able to ignore retaliate seems really important since he only has 9 HP.
Yeah, agreed.
Here, MODOK, take this. Yeah. All right, so that's it for Rocket for me. If you guys have anything, or if you want to hit Groot real quick.
Yeah, I'll jump on Groot if that's good with you guys.
You are Groot.
I am Groot. That's what I'll just read that card now. Groot is he's got 4 recovery, 10 health, hand size is the 6 and 5, pretty typical numbers we're used to now. He has an action in alter ego form. It's called Growth Spurt. Place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10. Limit once per round. And then his hero form has a 1-2-3 for stats, and the Floral Colossus. Forced interrupt when Groot would take any amount of damage. Remove that many growth counters from him. For each growth counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. So he's a pretty interesting, super defender again that we got here, similar to like that Spider-Man style hero. These growth counters are really going to help with things like Desperate Defense and Unflappable, to ensure that you're actually not taking the damage because they're technically preventing it. So he's an interesting hero. I mean, I'm not as excited about Groot as I am about Rocket on the surface, but he's not doing the flashy thing. As a guy who loves protection, I'm definitely interested in checking Groot out and seeing what he can do there, seeing what the rest of his cards are going to look like. But he does have this one event, and it's titled I Am Groot. It's all caps with an exclamation point, which might be how they end up distinguishing these.
Probably.
It's a 2-cost event, hero action attack. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. So that's a cool situation where you could turn that future defense into some offense. With a maximum of 10, if you're dealing 10 damage, that's pretty good. I don't know how easy it is.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty above curve, but
By a
how
lot.
hard is it to get those counters?
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Groot. I think I'm actually a little bit more excited for him than Rocket, but I'm also
Nice.
a big protection fan. And I kind of like the sort of sit and wait and build up play style, and then flip over and just unleash. I like that. That's definitely appealing to me. And I think the thing that will determine whether or not that actually works is like how much Groot has available to him to be able to deal with threat in his alter ego side while the villain's scheming.
Yeah.
I think that is a thing in this game where it's hard for a lot of heroes to stay in alter ego for a while. Like Iron Man can do it, but his late game is just absolutely insane, so it kind of justifies it. And then once he flips, he kind of doesn't need to flip back a lot of times. But I think it's harder for a lot of heroes to be in alter ego for more than a round or two at most. So I'm really curious to see what the rest of his kit looks like, and if he can sort of justify staying in alter ego mode while he's building up those growth counters.
I don't know if you want to stay in alter ego. I'm just thinking about the math in my head. If you flip to alter ego, that turn you're going to action get 2, and then the next turn you're going to action get 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then every turn you stay after that, one flip will net you 4 growth counters. But every time you stay, it's just only going to net you 2 more.
That's
so it might be that first. It might be I'm just flipping, double dipping on that ability, and then I'm going back to hero. And maybe with his 3 defense and maybe energy barriers and things like that, then you'll start to accumulate growth counters, or maybe there's other cards that add growth counters. Maybe some fertilizer on them. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And I mean, if there are cards, I mean there have to be cards that put growth counters on them, right? It's going to be remove 2 threat, put 2 growth counters on Groot for 2 resources or something like that. That's going to be a card, right? So I totally see that math. I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, there might be a better way to do that, but that's just my initial impression with our really limited knowledge.
The hero and a card.
What was that?
What was that?
What'd you say? I missed what you said.
I said, yeah, the access to the hero card and one event.
Yeah,
right, yeah.
We really don't know much.
We know that it's coming.
Yep, but they did show an event in the fan, another We Are Groot event, but there's also a gray event called Flora and Fauna, and it has Rocket and Groot on it, which I would imagine is going to be their team-up card, because that's another duo. That I think they said they were getting a team-up card, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That's definitely a team-up card.
So who knows what that does? I have no idea, but that could be interesting. But We Are Groot is interesting, too, because it has something to do with his counters.
Yeah, it does. It does.
We don't really know.
I think it says many and then maybe friendly, so it's something with friendly characters, maybe.
And then something those characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe you can give your growth counters to other players. I mean, that would
that'd be interesting.
Useful, but yeah, I don't know. And then these Buster boots or whatever, something boots, it gives Rocket Aerial, apparently. Probably another tech upgrade that only costs 1, which is nice.
Yeah. Then we got a little sneak peek of one of the villains, right?
Yeah, the Collector. They said you're going to fight him twice.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm all about these villains with the Collector here. I love it. And just looking at the box and seeing you got Ronan in the background, you got the Collector, you got Nebula on there. Did they name them all? Didn't they? They said they named all 5, didn't they?
They did. I don't remember what the other one is, but it's Collector twice, Ronan, Nebula, and then I forgot what.
It's the Badoon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know what that was. So
They're like a race of people that Peter Quill has lots of run-ins with as a guardian.
Gotcha.
One thing I really liked that they showed with the collector is that that scheme they showed, the Grand Collection, that has an alternate loss condition besides just threading out.
Yeah, that looks. I don't know what. I have no idea how that's going to go down, but it looks awful the way that sounds.
That seems like a really like just looking at the main scheme, like that's going to be hard to beat. Like,
you'll be way more likely to lose from the collection than you are in scheming. If
actually, it's really easy to get cards in the collection. Like, anytime an ally leaves play, anytime one of your cards with uses leaves play. Like,
I love the ally thing though, because the allies are so good in this game. I love that there's a downside to an ally, like just chump blocking now. Like. It's so good.
That's so necessary. Yeah.
I wanted that so bad. So I'm thrilled to see them build something, even like hard coded into an encounter. It's nice.
Yeah, for sure. I think ally hate is definitely something the game needed more of. So I'm all for it whenever it shows
Holy crap, this thing comes in with 4 threat per player. Maybe it's not that hard to scheme.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. But wait, no, yeah, this is 1B, right? So this is the only main scheme. In like this is the only main scheme.
Good luck.
I mean, for threat, like it gives the Justice player something to do on turn 1.
That's true. That is true. Other than Van.
Yeah, exactly.
Get them beat cops ready.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't remember if they said that, but do you guys know if this is the first time you fight the Collector or the second time you fight the Collector?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember if they said that or not.
Well, I'm very excited.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm trying to read through everything now to try to determine that. Oh, here we go. Infiltrate the museum. I'm gonna guess first time.
I like it.
That sounds like it's the first time, right?
Yep.
Unless he already captured somebody and you have to break them
and then
out.
we have to go break them out. Ooh,
that would be interesting too.
Man,
I have no idea. Again, I talked myself right out of it.
I'm so pumped for the campaign boxes. I cannot wait.
I'm already so excited for Rise of Red Skull. This has my hype level to
September 4th.
My wife's like, "How come you're not this excited for us and your kids?" I'm like, "I don't know, babe. I'm sorry. I'm a bad person. I don't know what to say." Oh man.
Well, once the kid can harness the Infinity Stones, then we'll talk.
I'm training them, man. They're nerds.
I know. I saw the oven mitt. I know.
Yeah, the oven mitt. We have an Infinity Gauntlet oven mitt, but my son is convinced he's Thanos. No, he doesn't snap. He just thinks he's only 2, so it's
Gotcha.
The bad things for Thanos are it's raining outside. That's the bad things that's Thanos done. But he understands Thanos is a bad guy now. That was a challenge just to even get that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So February 2021, Galaxy's Most Wanted. September 4th is what we're hearing for Red Skull. That's what it seems like. Depends how many boats
there's
they're
all those
using.
production issues with the dice. So, wrong game.
So last thing before we jump into spoiler season is the gift that Fantasy Flight Games gave us over the Gencon weekend, which was the Kree Fanatic print and play modular set. This is my favorite thing in the game right now is this modular set and the fact that it exists. Just because this whole set is brutal, and
it is.
I love every card in it.
Nuts.
It feels like an alternative to Heroic, honestly.
You
don't like Heroic? Throw this in an encounter and see how you like that.
This is a boss monster on the table. that is going to take your lunch money and not apologize when his parents call your parents. So
that's it. I'm calling the Supreme Intelligence.
Yep. Oh, man. So has anybody played the Ronin set yet?
I've played one game against it. Have you guys played any?
I haven't played it yet.
I have not. I'm waiting. I had some real like cards made up for this that I'm waiting to get in to use.
I need to do that.
So I haven't actually played yet. I'm waiting for my actual cards to show up. So what are your thoughts on it, actually playing it, Tommy?
I don't know if people will agree with our assessment, but we did not have a hard time. But we kind of were out to break other cards when we played. So we played. We were impatient, so I couldn't wait for those nice cards, even though I'm getting some too. We just had like black and white printouts.
Somebody's printer was out of colored ink.
Yeah, guilty. We played Expert Mutagen with Ronan the Accuser. I felt like that was going to be a pretty substantial challenge. I mean, it seems like a good starting point for this. But we also had the new Hulk pack. We played on Friday, and we wanted to try, some things out of that. So we had one player, my buddy John, was the Hulk. We built him the best aggression deck we could, and we said, here's She-Hulk. You're not going to play her. Just put her in your discard as soon as you see her. And then Scott was Captain America Leadership, and I was Doctor Strange Leadership, and we both ran 3 of the new Inspiring Presence card and 3 Get Readies. And we had 9 Honorary Avengers in the deck between us. So we were just going to try to Voltron She-Hulk, get her online, and just, stay afloat until she was ready. And boy, did she smash. As terrible as I think the She-Hulk hero is, the ally is the antithesis. She is insane. The ally is absolutely broken. We did 126 damage in one round.
Oh my god!
To win the game. Scott was the one who made the call for her, and the round that he was the last player. I was able to win Splatoon 3 times with the Master of the Mystic Arts and my regular use, and then I also played Nick Fury, and I was able to dig to get 3 Inspiring Presence and a Get Ready, and Scott also had a bunch of Inspiring Presence and Get Ready, and at that point we already had 8 Honorary Avengers on She-Hulk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she had already taken Ronan out earlier in the game. Actually, at the point where the game was at its worst was me as Doctor Strange only had like 2 health left, and Ronan came over to engage me, and that was the turn we were able to get She-Hulk really juiced up, and she took him out in that turn. Her and the Hulk together were able to take him out.
Wow.
It was an insane game with a ton of minions, and that's where we realized that the Hulk is actually really great at taking out these minions. And, he would just deal 3 to everything. Anything that had more than 3, we were using our allies to pick up the pieces. And we just got there. It didn't even feel that hard. It got hairy at one point, but it was... maybe it's because Goblin has too little health to really stand up to that. But 126 damage, you're killing anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. Just nothing stands a chance.
Yeah. Ronan had 27 health in like the middle of the game. It wasn't a super long game. It was probably like 7 or 8 rounds, something like that. And he comes out, he's engaged with me. He's been on the board for 1 round at that point. And we just melted him. We were just like, we'll just take Ronan this turn. We don't want to flip Goblin anyway. So we just killed Ronan. So maybe it was, the circumstances of that encounter and the timing of it all, but it just, we just smashed it. Inspiring Presence is also busted, so at least with She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get any of the other Kree Fanatic cards out that had an impact at all?
Yeah, we had the Accused was out, which also made us really want to kill Ronan. Judge, Jury, Executioner was the roughest card in the set because we were playing the ally game, and as I think most people are at this point, even when you're not playing leadership, you're probably packing a good amount of allies. and that has the force response of after a friendly character is defeated by an enemy attack, place 2 threat on the main scheme, and that comes out with 3 per player, and it has an acceleration token. And we got hit with a was it Mastermind or Master Plan? What's the one that adds 4 to every side scheme?
Yeah, Mastermind.
Yeah,
or Master
Mastermind.
Plan,
So this
whichever
thing
one
had
it is.
13 threat on it. So we took us a little while to get that down. But it was rough because every time our allies are blocking, we're getting threat on the main scheme. So it was definitely a juggling act with that. Other than that, we got the You Dare Oppose Me, where we were flipping cards off the top and resolving additional Kree Fanatic cards, but nothing else of note. It's coming to me here, but it was definitely fun. It was definitely challenging. It just, our ending was like, holy crap, She-Hulk is insane and needs to be like errated or limited to how many honorary Avengers can be on a character or something.
126 damage with an ally.
It wasn't strictly the ally. It was funny because the Hulk had a downturn. The Hulk only did like 9 damage that turn.
Only.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in any case, she did at least 100 damage, right? Like that's.
Oh yeah,
that's
at least 100 damage by herself.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised that Honorary Avenger is already max 1 per character.
Agreed.
Just from a thematic standpoint, just like
yeah.
I
We
guess
inducted you,
can
and
just
again,
be super honorary.
yeah. Could you imagine that title? It's the honorary.
7 more times.
Yep.
She-Hulk.
The most honorary of honorary Avengers.
I'm just gonna call her Your Honor from now on.
Yeah, I might have to house rule that card to say play only if your identity has the Avenger trait attached to a friendly non-Avenger character, max 1 per character.
Yeah, I mean, so we weren't. It's not like we brought our B squad for this game. We were trying to do some dumb.
You were
stuff.
trying to break the
So
game.
we were trying to. We were like, all right, Ronin is no joke. Let's bring the A team. Let's see what we can do. Let's put these ideas to the test. We built all 3 decks side by side so that they would all work together for this encounter. So it was fun though. It was worth it. It was a blast. We had so much fun. Because then we got to tell everybody in Discord that we did 126 damage. Everybody like, really, guys? Did you really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the 2 strongest characters with the strongest aspect with a really strong character in the next strongest aspect. So, if anybody's going to break it, it's going to be that.
Yeah, it was wild.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing this Ronin set when the cards show up. Should be this week. So, what'll come first, my Hulk pack or the Ronin set? We don't know.
My guess would be Hulk.
Hulk should be here tomorrow. So, moving on, we have spoilers. It's spoiler season here in Red Skull Land for FFG, and we were that's not the right word. FFG graciously, I can't say that word. They hooked us up with some spoilers. 1 spoiler. So a big thank you to Evan and the guys at FFG that got us this spoiler. So guest Mike Rudin, would you like to read off the spoiler that we got?
Sure. Yeah, so it is a leadership ally, the Black Knight, or I guess just Black Knight, Dane Whitman. It costs 3. His stat line, he has 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 health. He's Avenger traded, and he gets a special ability while attacking where his basic attack gains piercing. Piercing discards any tough status cards from the target before dealing damage.
First thing I want to say about this card is the art is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This makes for really good radio. To let you know that the picture I'm looking at right now.
He's just so handsome.
Yeah.
Is that who he's playing?
Yeah, Kit Harington.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Nice.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on the ally itself and not just the cool artwork?
I think it's great. I think piercing is super valuable, and like tough status cards are not scarce. I mean, obviously, it depends on the scenario that you're playing, but if you expect to see any tough status cards in that scenario, being able to remove it and then deal 2 damage on top of that, up to 3 times or more if you have Inspiring Presence or any number of cards I think is really strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's tough. Tough can be annoying. It's not like the end of the world. There are ways to ping it off. Some we already talked about, like one attack allies, energy barrier, whatever it is. But the fact that it's not just like he pings it off. It's like you don't even lose a step, you don't lose an action. He just removes it and deals his damage anyway. Like it's definitely good. I think it's not like you said. It's there's going to be tough in this encounter. Oh, he's going to be the ally I bring in this leadership deck for this one. Like I think Banana and I were talking. What'd you say, Claw, right?
Yeah,
because pops in line.
Yeah, because he's got the armored guards or whatever that have toughness right out.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't he get tough on 3, or does he stun you? Which is it? I can't remember. When
he gets tough on 3.
Yeah. He
and
might
Rhino
stun you too. I think he stuns you.
That's Rhino.
That's Rhino stuns you? Okay.
It could be Claw too, but I haven't played Claw in a while. Or I at least haven't gotten to 3 on Claw in a while. Not after today.
I think he's a solid. I mean, that stat line's like pretty average. The ability for piercing is obviously good. I agree. It's scenario dependent. I think him being an Avenger is a plus because if you're trying to do some Avenger assemble shenanigans, he
Bring
helps.
him in with the Quinjet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or the tower. The tower can reduce him.
Yeah, so he's a solid ally. I don't think he's the best ally in the game, but I don't think he's the worst either. I think he's
But he's got the best artwork.
Yeah.
He's no Winter Soldier.
There you go.
He is no Winter Soldier, that's for sure.
But it's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's interesting. I mean, it's a little hard to compare him to the other leadership allies. To me, he seems a little bit more on the aggressive side, which a lot of the other leadership allies seem a bit more like utility focused or thwart focused. So it's kind of cool to see one that's a bit more on the aggressive plan.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. He does fill a role that you don't have as much outside of like maybe Wonder Man, but I like drawing cards, not discarding cards. So.
Yeah.
All about that compensation. With Wong and the Raw Dog. You guys got anything else on the Black Knight?
No, I don't think so. I think that covers it.
All right, we're getting a little longer here. So we'll do real quick. We had some patron questions. So we'll read some of these off. We'll start off with Conspiracy. He wants to know what keywords from the Rise of Red Skull box are you most excited and most fearful of? I think as a Doctor Strange player, the enemies with piercing probably scare you a little bit. Because that makes your 7 Rings of Ragador a little less valuable.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm excited, and I don't know if it's... I mean, we don't really know what's in the box, but I hope there's a lot of overkill. Because, like I said, I think allies are too good. I want there to be just, like, overkill everywhere.
Piercing and overkill.
Yes. I think that would level out the hero power curve a little bit, or at least combat, what the heroes are best at right now.
And Conspiracy also wants to know what's a keyword or mechanic you'd like to see make its way into the game.
I want to see, back to the ally thing, I want to see a way for the villain to turn allies against you, like a traitor mechanic. Ooh. I think that would be fascinating. Whether the ally gets discarded and they get like a minion from outside of the game, similar to like an Ultron drone, like maybe it flips upside down, or there's a different printed like token card. But I want something like that. I dreamed up like a Secret Invasion scroll scenario that I was dabbling with making a custom content thing where that was a mechanic, but I hope that they do that one day.
That's cool.
I agree with that. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. You got anything, Mike?
Not off the top of my head. That's a very designy focused question.
Yeah.
Right.
Rest period says for the past 5 months he's been playing solo or two-handed. He doesn't see that changing, but there's so much content on the horizon. Can you recommend two-handed pairings that synergize well? Please share heroes and aspects. So he's looking for two-handed, two-player team-ups, basically. My favorite one is Captain America, Leadership, and Thor Aggression. I just think they play well together. So that's the one I would recommend.
Nice.
They definitely do. I think anything plays good with Doctor Strange, but I honestly after seeing the Hulk in action, I think the Hulk covers up Doctor Strange's weaknesses really well. I think Doctor Strange can get you through the thwarting game if you can include a few allies in his deck that can thwart for 2 to kind of fill the gaps between you getting the invocation card or your astral projections, and then you would have the Hulk take care of all the minions because Doctor Strange is terrible at that, and then the Hulk can just deal damage when needed to the villain, and then Doctor Strange will stun him and give you guys tough and all the other good things he does. I think those two together are like top tier. Aspect wise for Hulk, I would go aggression, although I think that there's definitely potential there for protection. I know Mike said he was playing that, but I don't have anything built, and that's all theory. And Doctor Strange, I think you can do protection or leadership, and that would be really, really powerful.
Yeah, for sure. And just a note on the Doctor Strange minion thing, I've been throwing in 2 Haymakers in all my Strange decks just to help handle the minions. But
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Haymaker's not a great card, but sometimes it's the best card in my hand. That's not an invocation. And he has a bonus question. What's the most commonly forgotten or underrated card combo play in two-handed? And my answer is Lockjaw. So it's always Lockjaw.
I think the new hotness for me with combo plays is almost entirely in the Hulk pack. It's the toe-to-toe card in conjunction with that the aggression preparation card, where they attack you
spicy.
and then you deal the damage right back to them, or you use that other one that removes threat, or all 3 at the same time. So you can really, if let's say Doctor Strange plays Astral Projection, and now you know the top card of the deck is a 3 pip damage card, then you say, all right, great. Or if it's a no pip, depending on what your health total is, what the villain health total is, now you have like perfect knowledge of what you'll take and what you'll deal back. So you can be like, all right, toe to toe, I take 6, you take 5, now you take 6 more from that preparation card. I can't remember the name of it. And then you can also counterattack, and then you can remove threat as well, or in any whatever way you want. But basically you pay 2 resources and you take some damage and you do all of that stuff. So that's a big combo play. It's like 4. I think I listed 4 cards that you have to play, but it doesn't. You don't need all 4 of them. I think any toe to toe is the linchpin, and then everything else kind of feeds off that.
Yeah, so toe to toe counterattack, and you'll pay for that, right? Or 3 of the 4.
Yes, and then astral projection would be the one to get the perfect knowledge, or you could use something like Falcon.
Yeah. Cool.
That's
or
really
Spider Woman, right? Spider Woman will do it. Can't she peep the encounter? I think she can from Alter Ego.
Oh, the hero, yeah,
yeah.
Her alter
Top
ego
card of any
ability.
deck.
Yep. Kennedy Hawk has a few questions. He has one from a little bit ago we didn't get to. The last time we casted, he said if you could design a side scheme that goes in a Doctor Doom set, what would it be called and what would its effects be? And I said that mine would be called Emperor Doom, and it would take an ally you control and have it engage you as a minion. If no allies are in play, you would discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard an ally, and you put that into play engaged with you as a minion. And that I got from the... there was a Doctor Doom storyline called Emperor Doom where he was like mind-controlling heroes, so that's kind of where I got that from. I think Tommy had one he answered, if he wants to get into that.
Sure, I said Mystical Studies would be the name of the side scheme, and it would say, when revealed, place 2 threat per player on the side scheme. It'd have the force reaction when Doctor Doom attacks, discard the top card of the defending player's deck. If it's a mental resource, if this attack does damage, place 1 threat on Mystical Studies. For physical, if this attack does damage on the target energy, this attack gains piercing, and wild, reveal an additional boost card for the villain. And then it comes into play with a generic 2 threat.
Both solid side schemes.
That's what we do with the side scheme.
That's what we do. We just work up fake side schemes.
We just plug ourselves all day.
Sure thing.
More euphemisms too.
Yep. That's the great thing about having like the name of the side scheme podcast is like every other podcast or content creator is plugging us and they don't even realize it. It's like when this side scheme comes to play, it's like, boom, thanks for the plug. I kind of felt the same way when Chip brought me into Discard to Reroll, because if you watch and stream, they're like, I'm going to Discard to Reroll, and I'm like, I hear the Mr. Chip ding, ding. Like,
Yep.
There it is.
Nailed
Free
it.
advertising.
Yep, free advertising. Kennedy Hawk asked us a few questions. He wants to know how we schedule our recordings.
We throw a dart at a calendar.
Inside baseball here.
Yeah. So what happens is I'll text Tommy. I'll be like, "Yo, you free this weekend? We should probably record this weekend, right?" And then we go from there. That's usually how it starts.
And then 5 weeks later, we record.
Like, sorry, man, I got I'm not going to be around this weekend. Maybe next weekend. It's like, have my wisdom teeth out. Maybe we'll try the next weekend. Just whenever it works out. Kennedy Hawk asks, who's your favorite character in the Avengers beta? So that's to do. There's a Marvel's Avengers video game coming out that was in beta this weekend. Did either of you guys play that?
Not I.
I played it a little bit. My favorite character that I played was Thor, but you only got to play him in the beginning bridge sequence. He wasn't. You play like a bridge sequence at the beginning, where you play as Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and Black Widow, like all for a couple minutes to get like a feel for him. Thor was my favorite, and then they took you to like 2 different story missions where you were playing as Kamala Khan or the Hulk. And then once you finished the story, you could do other missions, and you could play as Black Widow, Iron Man, Hulk, or Kamala Khan. So you couldn't play as Cap or Thor other than those first couple minutes. But Thor, I just liked the way his combat worked, so I'm going to go with Thor.
Thor's usually my go-to when I'm playing a Marvel video game. He's like the first character I play because he's just like, he's just got all the good abilities you want.
Yeah, just like throwing Mjolnir, right? So you throw Mjolnir into like one of the dudes on the bridge, and like it sticks him up against a cement truck, and it just stays there until you recall it. Is just
that's cool.
Yeah, so like, and then you can throw it, and it just keeps going, and then you recall it, and I like position myself so it hits somebody on the way back. Like just it was like super satisfying.
Yeah.
So there's that. He also wants to know what your favorite aspect for Hulk is. I'm going to say aggression because I don't have it yet, so I'm just going with aggression.
Aggression's probably his best, I would imagine. But I think protection, I think Counterpunch has play with him, especially if you have an aggression ally to throw a combat training on you, and then your other card, because any zero-cost event, if you're already going to be blocking and playing like I'm readying after I block cards, whatever flavor you want, the Counterpunch is like, it's 0 cost 5 damage. 4 to 5 damage, assuming you get one of those upgrades on you.
Right.
Yeah, I dig the idea of the protection Thor, the protection Hulk. I definitely want to try it in multiplayer because I think it'll be much better there. But
yeah,
like his health pool is just so big that you can just stay in Hulk mode like forever.
It really is. It actually made me think about trying Justice just for the great responsibility. You're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take that.
I mean, honestly, like that, it's not the worst idea. Like he does so much damage in his own like 15 cards anyway.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know if you even need aggression to be, like to like, lean even more into that, or if you're better off like, splashing into a different, zone to sort of like shore up his weaknesses, or get cool cards like that like other heroes can't take advantage of nearly as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's some exploring to do with Hulk. But I mean, like, it's hard to argue with the aggression thing because it's just like I saw it in action. It was like it was really powerful.
Yeah.
All right, so last question we got is also from Kenny Hawk. He wants to know who the heel is in Marvel Champions.
No, Kennedy Hawk, I got bad news, buddy. You're the heel.
Yep, you're the heel.
I mean, like the least heel person I know.
I mean, I can shoulder that responsibility if it's needed. I can be the heel. That's fine. So.
It's Scott. It's Scott.
Yeah, it's Scott. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
He might be the heel of the jokes, but has he played recently? Have you guys talked to him?
No, I don't think he's been playing recently.
Well, we don't have any other questions, so I think that's going to start to wrap it up here. Mike, you got anything you want to say, or Wild Wormholes you want to plug?
No, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. This was a lot of fun.
It was our pleasure, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being on. You're always great to talk to and to listen to, so I appreciate you coming on with us. So for Mike Rudin and Tommy of Titan, I am BananaCrapshoot. Stay scheming, champions. And let's see, what sound clip am I going to use this one?
You have reached the life model decoy of Tony Stark. Please leave a message.
You always got to be careful because he never stops recording when he says he's recording.
Or when I say stop. Like, I'm still recording right now, but you don't know
this
it.
This is where you get in trouble when you start saying things like...
Yeah. Like,
in that 3-player game, Scott really sucked.
Yeah.
Well, Scott doesn't listen. I'd have to say something bad about my mom to actually...